So what part of the process then do you think that indie filmmakers most underestimate when they decide to go at this really large scale?
Oh, for me, I think it's just the scheduling. Like apart from the locations, like of course we've had some hiccups with that in the past trying to get locations, but I think scheduling is genuinely the hardest thing. Like if I look at every project that I've ever done, scheduling is always the biggest issue. Like especially now because we're going into episode three, the big cast that we have is split into two groups. So if any of those 12 people are not free on any particular day, it messes up the whole thing. Plus, certain locations are only free certain days. And then we have a massive group of makeup artists. They're not always free every day because some are better at certain things than others. Like, some of the makeup artists can only do like touch ups, or like we had one of the characters being sick, but then some other makeup artists might be able to do the zombie makeup, like the big prosthetics. So, and then also trying to get the camera crew organized as well. The scheduling part of it is quite hard. So, I guess the best thing that I found to deal with that is just doing it every Sunday, because at least people know, like, all right, it's only this day a week. I don't have to plan a whole lot of stuff. And just giving people months and months notice in advance. Like it takes us around 10 weeks to make each episode. So I try to give people like a rough timeline of, right, roughly we're going to finish episode three by this week. I'll need you for this many days of filming. So yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, it really has to be like a military operation from what you're saying with scheduling and making sure everyone is available and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so, so I presume while you're making this, you're also building your audience out there.
Yeah.
How hard has that been to get them to buy into such a long running project?
Um, I feel like that it's quite hard because when people look at stuff online, like let's say someone's going on TikTok and they're seeing stuff from Marvel or Star Wars or Harry Potter, or any of these big IP names, when they're seeing a clip from my show, they're not likely to stay on the clip that long or whatever video that they're watching because they don't know what it is. And the amount of comments that I get on certain videos that I make being like, what is this? So it's always the thing of like, if anyone sees a project from a big IP that already exists, instantly they know, oh, that's this, that's that. Nobody knows what this show is. So it's kind of like a thing of every time that you're posting something, you have to put it in your mind like, okay, if I was coming across this and I had never seen this before, how can I engage this person into coming on with it? So you really have to think about the hook and how it's edited and make it pop, because it's quite hard. And then also, I've noticed that I think across all socials, I have about 30,000 followers, which is quite great. I'm very thankful for that. But I have noticed, like before we started production for this season, the viewership just tanked because I hadn't made a film in 4 years. So a lot of the followers that I had on socials were kind of like classed as ghost followers, where they weren't interacting with anything. The views were really low. And then we started this season, and one of the first posts we got on one of the first days of filming got like 80,000 views. And I was like, oh my God, we're back. Yeah, it's great to see. But yeah, it's hard because I think I've always said this to the cast and crew. I think I see this show as kind of like an IP, like a product. The longer we make this, the more valuable it's going to be, not only to people trying to invest in it, like maybe distribution folks or even viewers, because the more that we release, the more chance that we have for people to latch onto it, being like, "Oh, what's this?" and let me watch more. So the more that there is to watch, the more that we have to market. But I think when this season comes out, one of the main things that will propel people to watch it is clips on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. I kind of have like a formula in my head of how I'm going to do that. And then our plan is to do like a premiere for the first two episodes, um, and invite people to watch it that would potentially invest, or even like Joe.e or any of these news outlets, to kind of get the word out, not just on socials but in real life as well.
So leading on from that, then what's your plan for distribution? Like you have season one is on YouTube, is it?
Yeah, we have season one and the first Southbound movie on YouTube, but because they're such small scale compared to what we're doing now, I might just leave them where they are. And this season two itself, it's kind of a soft reboot because I knew it would be such a long time from like what 7 years ago since the last season came out. I didn't expect everyone to watch the first season, so this season is kind of like a jumping on point. So if people watch this season for the first time and they had never watched anything else I've ever made, it still makes sense and they can still enjoy it. So I kind of have that idea with the distribution. So